Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to You Are Supreme Toys. Today we're going to be doing a NECA review. We're going to be looking at the Dungeons & Dragons Warduke Ultimate action figure. These figures are based on the original 1980s action figures from the Dungeons & Dragons toy line, and they're upgraded sculpts with upgraded articulation and accessories. I did not have any of those figures when I was a kid. I used to come across them all the time at the flea markets and yard sales. They looked interesting, but they didn't really fit in with anything else that I played with, so I never picked any up. Went to my local Target, checking on their Holothon releases. The Holothon is actually very slow to come up in my area. For the past 2 years, I've gone there day of Holothon, like when things are supposed to be released on the date, and there's never anything Holothon related at my stores. So this actually took, I think it was like the end of week 3, and these guys showed up with a bunch of other stuff. I went to Target, and it was just a plethora of Holothon stuff. Everything from the Holothon that was released was there, except for Zog from the TMNT line, but I was able to pre-order him through the Target website. So here we got Warduke, and NECA is just killing it with their box art and the releases. I don't know. I honestly cannot understand or comprehend how NECA is able to release the products that they release with the quality that they have become synonymous with. There was a while there where their sculpts and their paint apps and their accessories and everything was really good. Their packaging was really good, but the quality of the action figures were just terrible. Stuff would just break immediately out of the box. The past, I'd say 4 years, NECA has really ramped up their quality control. I very rarely have an issue with a NECA figure these days, though I do not buy them as prevalently as, say, Super 7 or Mattel products. When I do buy a NECA figure, it's very rare now that there's an issue. Usually it might be they're missing an accessory, or I had bought the NECA Goliath a couple years ago, and he had 2 left hands, and I was able to swap that out and get a new one, so that wasn't a big deal. But let's take a look at this package. This package art is fantastic. I don't know who's on NECA's team, but they're sculptors, they're artists. Even the guys on their engineering team who work in these sculpts and everything are really doing top-notch stuff these days. They're able to manufacture product that looks to the T like the prototypes and the renders that they show for the product, which is amazing when you compare it to other brands that are of the similar collector quality vein, like Super 7. Super 7's products very rarely come out looking anything like the renders or the prototypes, but NECA is always on all cylinders these days. This art is gorgeous. Of course, you got Warduke here on the side. We got some photos of Warduke in action with his various poses and accessories, and then also available is Grimsword, the Evil Knight. Let's see, he's got his little bio here.
Warduke fights as a remorseless, cold-hearted mercenary who works for coin. The evil swordsman serves Kalek as a cohort and adventuring companion from time to time. He wields a flame-tongue longsword and wears a dread helm. He never removes his helmet to reveal his face to others, but the visage beneath it is that of a grim, hideously scarred gladiator.
Really? It's amazing to me that they can take these vintage concepts and reinvent them for modern collectors. What I like about NECA's packaging is you can keep the box closed, or you can pop it open with this little Velcro tab and reveal the glorious figure inside. Their packaging is amazing. Probably better, I think, than even Super 7's packaging, because there's just a lot here. It's difficult to justify chunking this package in the garbage, because the art, look, even the photographs are amazing. Unfortunately, I'm only here for this guy, and look at him. He is outstanding from head to toe. Glorious little action figure. Now, right there, you can look. Let's compare this prototype to the final product. And I gotta say, this is pretty much one for one. I'm seeing very minor differences. My biggest concern, as I've mentioned with NECA products, is hoping that all the accessories are included in the package and that he doesn't have like mismatched limbs, which has happened, but doesn't happen that often with me lately. Let's go ahead and pop Warduke out and get a nice little gander at him. All right, I can't stop gushing over this guy. He looks amazing. Just, oh man, I just can't. I just can't. Just a beautiful action figure. Take a look at that sculpt on that helmet. Those paint apps are clean. This little emerald on his medallion. His pauldron. All the spikes are painted. He's got his sheath on his back for his long sword. The pouches, like everything is just so clean and crisp. It makes me not understand why companies like Super 7 have such a hard time getting their products to look like what they're promised. Love this belt. The sculpting on this guy is amazing. All the mail on his arm is a metallic blue. His leg, and it all looks so good. Like the leathery cuff of his boot. Now, typically, the biggest issue I have with NECA products are stuck limbs. They, a lot of times, have stuck joints, and it, causes a big issue with articulation. This guy looks amazing. So far, if I just went off looks alone, I mean, even look at his hand, his little gauntlet here. The silver on top is painted. The fingers are painted, but the inside of the arm is leather. So it's like a little gauntlet covering. Oh man, it's just the straps, the buckles. Look at that. All those little buckles are clean. Super 7 can't even get a single clasp painted cleanly on their figures. I hate to compare them, but when I see a figure of this sculpt quality, this paint quality, with the amount of accessories it comes with, and it's $20 cheaper than a Super 7 product, that's a big deal. This guy was $35, still pricey for a collectible, but you get your bang for your buck. Most of the ultimate figures that NECA produces are around the $35 price range, and this guy, I think, so far, just on looks alone, is worth every penny. Let's check out his articulation. The head is nice and firm. It's got a nice range of motion. Not a lot of side to side because this ear wants to hit this pauldron here. The arms are really firm. A lot of squeaking going on. Got that shoulder swivel and bicep, which are really tight. That bicep swivel. He's got the elbow and swivel hinge, and it can get a 90 degree. Then he has a wrist hinge and twist. This mirrors over to the other side, even though the left arm is a completely different sculpt. It pretty much does all the same things. It's even got that swivel, and of course the hinge and twist. He has an abdominal crunch, which is somewhat hindered with the straps and the waist piece that he has. But you can still get a little bit of movement out of it. Not quite as much as I would like. But, there's a lot of stuff blocking the actual cut. Now, as far as waist articulation, I don't think he has anything. But I can't tell. Even if he did, it probably wouldn't move very much. Now, this loincloth is kind of bulky. It's soft, but it does get in the way when you're posing the legs a little bit. So if you want to go out or back or forward, it's going to hit that loincloth. It's not going to be too bad. Of course, it's got the hip rotation and hinge. It has a knee, which goes 90 degrees. There's also a twist and a boot cut. So there's a knee twist and a boot cut twist. That's pretty good. And the feet are really tight and firm with the hinge and the rocker ankles. Of course, on this side, he's got the same thing. There is a little bit of paint transfer on the inside of the thigh right here from the loincloth, but I don't think that's that big a deal. You're not going to really see it. And of course, he's got his knee. That knee is a bit iffy, I gotta say. He has a boot twist on this leg too, and his hinged and rocker ankled feet. So he's got a lot of rotation, no stuck joints. Some of them are tighter than others, but still look pretty good. Oh my gosh, this guy's amazing. Check out these accessories, guys. Look at this shield. Look at this shield. This shield is amazing. This is one of the coolest shield accessories I've seen with a figure, and it is heavy. It is hefty. It is solid. It's got a little strap here for his arm, and then the handle for his hand to grip. This is a beautiful accessory, and this strap is soft and pliable, and the handle's hard. I don't know how they're able to do this. There's no way that they're manufacturing this many pieces of this. There's no way there are that many people clamoring for recreation pieces of vintage Dungeons and Dragons action figures, but I could be wrong. He comes with his long sword, which is a pretty awesome sword sculpt. I mean, it could have been a basic looking sword, but this looks nice. It's got the little dragon claw top holding the ord. That's the pommel, I guess. The hilt. They could have just sculpted a straight hilt, but it's got little crags and crevices in it. The emblem is clean. I love this weathered look on the blade. It's even got little dings in it like it's been in combat. Come on, man. This looks amazing. He comes with a saber, a small short saber. This is a little bit more generic, but it looks great. I love the blue metallic paint on the handle. Fits in nice. Got a little hook on the end. It's a beautiful piece. And he's got a more prominent little short sword or a dagger. That handle is gorgeous too. He comes with the sheath. The sheath is for the short sword. He has something to house every blade he has. So you could actually store all of his weapons. This is glued into place on the side. It's very hard too. So it's not going to go anywhere. And yep. Okay, the saber does fit in there. It is very tight. You're going to have a chore getting it in there. Be very careful. It comes out really easily. Just be wary. The one thing I will say about NECA accessories are they're kind of flimsy and cheap. They feel good in the hand, but they also feel brittle. If you push with all the force from the top of the handle, you might break the blade. Also be careful, because as you can see from that one little insertion, there is a little bit of brown paint transfer from that sheath on the blade. This isn't tight at all. It just slides right in. There's a small chain length on this sheath. It is intended to clasp to this ring right here. I'm not sure if they intended it to be loose like that, but it was unconnected in the packaging. It's going to be quite a chore to try to get that attached. Or the longsword should fit straight into this sheath on the back. There is some pressure here. I hate to think that this is going to scratch the sword by putting it in the sheath. It is very tight. The sword fits in the sheath very tightly, as you can see. I'm worried about it scratching, so I'm going to pull it out and see what it looks like. Alright, I don't see any scratching marks on it, so that's good. Just be mindful of that when you're taking it in and out. He also comes with a flame attachment for the longsword, which looks amazing too. It is a somewhat firm plastic. I would be wary about trying to bend it too much. You might could break it still, but it does have some give to it. It is a nice multi-toned color. I love that. And he comes with 3 extra hands. He's got 2 gripping hands on in the package, and he comes with this giant gripping hand for his left and 2 right hands, a pointing finger and another gripping hand. I guess there are multiple size gripping hands for whatever it is he's holding. This shield should fit over his right hand. Usually when there's a shield or something like this, I just sit it over the wrist and fit the hand in like this, but this is a heavy shield, so it's not going to like rest very easy. There. Usually you just fit it in the grip, but it'll be fine. That hand will fit right there. And of course, this is his sword holding hand on the left. I am curious as to how that's going to get in there. This is definitely too big for a sword. I feel like this is more for him holding his sheath. It's too big for a dagger. So I'm going to pop this out. The hands pop out very easy. That's nice. I'm going to try to get this sword in this hand. I might have to go heat it up. Yeah, I'm going to go heat this hand up real quick. Alright, with a little hot water, I was able to get this sword handle into the hand relatively easy. That pops right on. Now he can wield his long sword. And this flame attachment should slide right over that sword. Let's see how easily it fits. Be careful, you don't want to break the sword. It is flimsy. Oop, see, like I almost almost bent it too far there. It is very difficult. You might want to heat this up too. I'm not going to bother doing that. I don't think it's necessary. And it should fit all the way down to the hilt of the sword. Like so. Adds a little bit extra weight to the handle, but it looks great. So yeah, that extra weight of that flame really makes that hand want to sag a little bit. That's kind of a bummer. Yet again, another NECA figure that's going straight on my shelf. It's far and in between that a Super 7 figure winds up going on a shelf immediately. But NECA has just been one after the other winding up on my shelves. I gotta say, I wish NECA had most of the licensing to the brands that Super 7 are doing, because they're faster with the releases, their quality is better, the sculpts are better, the paint is better, the release times are timely. If they show you a photo of the item, it's pretty much close to being done, and it's going to be in your hand sooner rather than later. I really wish that Super 7 would really get their timing down on the releases. I'm going to bring in a couple Super 7 items so you can see the scale. Here's Tigra. And here's the Yellow Ranger. Warduke is about the same scale as a Super 7 Ultimates figure. And bring in Wonder Woman here from McFarlane line, and she fits in very well with him. They actually look very good together. They're probably going to be teammates on the shelf. But Warduke looks fantastic. I'm gushing over this guy. I can't believe how amazing he looks in person. He feels great in person. He looks great in person. There are really only minor, like minuscule complaints about this figure. Attaching this sheath chain to the chain on the waist is kind of problematic. The flimsiness of the sword makes it difficult to attach the flame attachment and put it in the sheath. The tightness of the grips of the hands make it difficult to grab accessories without heat, and some of the joints are a little too stiff. But other than that, he's 9 out of 10, guys. I can't wait to see the other D&D figures that they have lined up in regards to that vintage line. I was on the fence about these guys for a little while, but now I'm pretty confident I'm all in. This Warduke really set the stage for what to expect from this line, and I love it. I love it. This is a great toy. This is a great figure. I can see myself keeping him for a very long time. Anyway, this has been an unboxing and review of NECA's Dungeons & Dragons Ultimate Warduke action figure. And I am UR Supreme Toys. Thank you so much for watching.